So important things to remember when getting started doing this. Again, first of all, this is really meant for people who want to take action. I can't stress that enough. I'm not putting together theory. I'm putting together a step-by-step plan where the fundamentals in this plan have worked well for me, and I'm teaching you exactly what I've done, okay? And how you can implement it on a smaller scale, and in my opinion, I believe potentially more lucrative, quickly more lucrative, and more effective in regards to the experience you'll have recruiting and then retaining agents as well. But again, it's all about taking action. I don't just want you watching this casually. I want you to look at this and decide for yourself if this is something you want to do. And if it is, follow me these next couple of months. Let me help you put together a plan where you can build your own agency. If this isn't something you want to do, don't get distracted. Stay personally producing. That's totally fine. But this is for people who want to take the next step. So yeah, ready, fire, aim. Again, that's kind of the premise of this whole program here is taking action and then cleaning up if it's not exactly perfect, course correcting and working on it and perfecting it over time. Patience is a necessity. Again, I didn't build my agency to where it was in the course of 6 months or less. It took me 5 to 6 years before I got to not be able to sell in the field full-time or even part-time now. So expect to learn a process that will pay dividends over time. Building an agency that's worth having won't happen overnight or in a couple of years. It will take some time and consistency. So expect that to be your case as well. Don't quit personally producing yet. Yeah, so a lot of people say, well, should I focus entirely on building an agency? No. One of the strategies you're going to implement is showing people how you're successful already, okay? So it's imperative that you still sell in the field. Now, what happens is that your time will become more tight. And guess what? Look, if you're going to expand and build a business, you're going to have to juggle 2 things at once. You're going to have to still personally produce to make sure you're earning an income. But you're also going to have to train agents, take their phone calls, and help them along too. You're going to be very busy for the next 3 to 5 years, okay? Accept it. Don't be mad about it. Don't get upset. If you want something that's as cool as a lifestyle-driven business that an agency can provide, you've got to put up the work for many years. And you don't want to quit personally producing because you may hire an agent that delivers you an enormous chargeback. I mean, I don't think it'll happen, but chargebacks do. And you should be financially prepared that you don't want one guy to sink you. Again, we'll talk more about that at a later date, but we want to strategically work on an exit plan, not just get out of personal producing. We don't want to be like the multi-level guys that said, hey, I've been here for 2 months. I'm building an organization. I've got an organization, but I don't sell anything or never plan on. You don't want to be that guy. You have no value proposition at all if that's what you do. You as somebody who is personally producing and has seen some level of success, even if it's just moderate success or consistency of success, that is something alone that is way more valuable, that you can actually help agents from an in-the-trenches standpoint to duplicate what you do. And yeah, you're going to do activities outside your comfort zone. Maybe you saw the opportunity meetings and you're like, oh God, I got to get in front of a bunch of people. Well, sorry. Oh, I got to talk to people. I got to drive them around and do ride along. I've got to do things. I got to interview people. I've got to, I'm not on my own anymore. Well, guess what? This is something that may be a little bit new to you and it may be making you a little uncomfortable, but that's usually the sign that you're heading in the right direction. You get uncomfortable. You get disturbed, like Ben Feldman said, but that's the first steps of growth upwards, right? So embrace it. Don't be deterred by it. Embrace it. Accept that it's a part of the business that you're going to go through. And that's it, guys. That is all for the first module here. So let me go ahead and pull up my chat here, make my camera box a little bit bigger. And then let's see if there are any questions. I'll be happy to address them. Again, if you're watching a recording of this and you have some ideas that have popped in your head that you'd like me to discuss in the course, you're welcome to put them down below. I'm happy to review them. So let me go through chat here and see if there's anything that people have talked about here. And let me get my handy dandy book out. I'm going to make some notes in that everybody's talking about here so I can start putting this course together. Okay. Nick says, how long is each session? Probably 45 to 60 minutes is what I'm figuring. It just depends on the topic. Some of them will be faster than others. Others will be longer than others. So if you ever have to go anywhere, for the time being, these videos are going to be on my Facebook channel, so you can just watch them at a future date. Jimbo Slice. Hey, Jimbo. Pimping a contract, LOL. Yes, there's a lot of those out there. Yeah, you don't want to be those guys. It's just, imagine you recruiting somebody that you have no relationship with, that you don't know, that is a faceless name. Do you think that if you choose the wrong guy that decides that he's got to pay his mortgage, it's 3 months behind, and he writes a bunch of shit business, and ends up lapsing it all so he could get the commission money and then doesn't pay you? Do you think that guy might do that? I mean, I don't know. But a guy that would do that is more likely to be in that position than somebody you've hand-selected, you've hand-groomed, and developed into your own agent, that you've had the capability and pleasure of training. And again, this stuff happens. Again, I had a guy who, he recruited a guy that wrote 60 policies, and 58 of them lapsed in a 2-month period. He had a $15,000 chargeback debt with Transamerica. Luckily, he was a top producer. But that one dude, because of not having a system in place to screen out applicants and better manage him, really put a dent in his commissions. And look, there's a lot of us out there and I was in this position where that would have taken me out of the business. So you got to be prepared for that. And you got to have systems in place to try to avoid that as much as possible. All right. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, what's going on, man? Sam says, I didn't hear the first part of the course, so I don't want to ask any dumb questions. No problem. No dumb questions. Just dumb people, Sam. Okay, Farida says, how do you get them generating leads or purchasing? Yeah, that's a great question. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we outline that. That is a that might even be a subtopic of one of, or an entire topic to itself. So leads for agents. There's a lot of different approaches. Again, just briefly, you've got the free lead approach. You've got the paid, you pay it yourself approach. You've got the referral warm market approach. Some kind of combination of that is going to be, or one or the other. You really have to do an inventory on yourself and what you're comfortable with in order to determine that. And you're going to get pros and cons. You're going to have circumstances to where, man, I'm telling you, if you buy leads or if you provide leads for your agents, you'll have a ton of agents. Oh no, I think my baby just took her first step. So I got to check in a minute. So, but the problem is if you're buying leads for your agents, you're on the hook financially, right? So you may be in a position to where now you got all these leads you got to go work, or you may take a loss on. So, again, we'll talk more in depth about this and trying to help you determine what's best for your organization. Moral of the story, there's not a right way, there's a best way for you. And that's what I'll try to help with. And again, part of this reason too is why we recruit locally is to protect against that. If you do end up trying to buy leads for your agents, at least you're in a position where if they go away and disappear, you can cover those leads, so you're not as exposed to the loss element. Whereas if I bought leads for a guy in Michigan, and I'm not going to Michigan, I have to take a loss on that, which is why I don't do that. All right, Mary, hey, what's up? Can I start recruiting now without being back in the field? Can I utilize your system for training my agents? Yes, so you work with me, Mary. One of the things I do is that if you want to do this kind of program and you like the idea of doing, let's say, final expense, you can leverage my training materials to help train your agents if you're in that position. The main thing I want is making sure that you have insurance sales training experience. Just reach out to me, Mary. We can talk more in depth about that. But the short answer is yes. Just don't want an agent who has never sold anything just because you won't necessarily know what to look for. You know what I mean? Kind of makes sense if you think about it. All right, Nick, if you will talk about the telesales component. Let me write that down. I'll tell you, Nick, it's almost the same thing. It is the same thing. It's just, and you're in an office, you've got to have the materials, you got to have the resources set up. But the fundamentals, and again, this is a fundamentals course in the sense that it's scalable to whatever product or market you're in. If you sell face-to-face, like I teach, or if you do telesales, this will work regardless. So And that will all make more sense as we move along in the coursework. So there may be some specific elements if you want to clarify that we can go over for the telesales side of the things. I'll be happy to do that. But as far as building a team, building a culture, finding good agents, keeping good agents, what I'll teach will apply no matter what it is that you're selling or how you sell it. All right. Is it Cassie or Casey? I'm assuming it's Cassie. Hey, Cassie. By the way, I answered your question on the premium sales on the Final Expense Eagle lead page, so check that out. How do you see what their budget is on telesales, and where in the conversation does that? Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, you asked. It's funny. I answered that. Go check that. I actually answered that in a video for I spent 7 minutes going into detail. So check it out and contact, DM me or whatever. If there's any questions after you look at that, let me know. I do it all. Yes, me too. What's your takes on telesales leads? What kind, Tyler? And then I'll be happy to reply. I totally agree on the local approach. Yeah. The local approach to me is critical in this business. I think it's just the easiest way to start. It's none of it's easy, but you can create the agency and your image a lot better and with a lot more control. And you can recruit, I think, a lot better too, because so many people need to have training, and they need to have hands-on intensive coaching and training. If they don't get that, if you recruit them and they live 100 miles away and they don't go to an office, they don't report with you, they're just going to flounder out. And you're going to waste a lot of time recruiting, never really creating a producing agent. In times of the essence when you're out there working in this business, that's for sure. Hold on here 1 second, guys. Got to shut my advanced technology off here. Okay. My little phone here. All right. Let's see. Do you help people get licensed? Let me make sure I cover that. That's a good question. How to help people get licensed. That's going to go kind of in the section, Frida, on what kind of agent you're targeting, kind of you making your ideal agent profile. My recommendation is to target newer agents to start with, but a lot of them won't be licensed. They'll be intrigued by your offer or by your business model, and they're going to have to get licensed. There's different ways you can do that. Some organizations, they'll front the money to get licensed and then take that money out of their first sale that they make, or they'll do the opposite. You got to put the money down for your license, and then we'll pay you after you make your first sale or something like that to try to incentivize them that, hey, we got your back. Again, different strokes for different folks. It may come down to the person you're recruiting that you feel that they're a good fit. So it just depends. I personally don't do it. My business model is strictly, I treat people like business owners. You're going into business for yourself. You got to finance yourself. You got to motivate yourself. I'm not going to call you every day and ask you what you're doing. I'm busy. You need to be busy too. And if you can't do that, you're not a good fit for me. But that's because that's my predefined agent profile that's a good fit for me. But that's probably 5% of the population or less, okay? A good strategy is I don't know if it's a good strategy, but it could be a good strategy, is to, focus on not a business owner mentality, but a salesman or employee mentality, which again, opens up the availability of recruits tremendously. Okay, Tyler says avatar leads. So those are illegal now. You've probably seen some old articles of mine. They've been illegal for like 2 years. What really works for telesales right now for Final Expense, digital marketing, like with Facebook leads, work well. Also, live transfer leads work well. TV leads work too. So something like that in combination. How will we get carriers? How do you mean by that, Maria? Feel free to go ahead and clarify your question there. It's all through the same process, really. You just select the carriers you want to work with and then go through the same thing. Okay, so last call for questions. If anybody's got any questions, you're welcome to leave any sort of comments below, and I'll be happy to address them. If you're watching a recording, again, you are welcome to leave questions in the comment box below. I'll read them. Again, this is a course I'm curating based off of your involvement. Again, I can't stress that enough. That's really important to me. But we'll cover a lot of different topics. And again, we'll go into big detail about how everything's going to work. How do you get carriers if you have your own agency? You just contract like normal. That may bring up another question. Should you get contracted as an LLC or not? Yeah, it's debatable. You could do it either way. To me, that's one of those things that we adjust over time, not necessarily in the beginning, in order to take productive steps to actually do something. So it's all pretty much the same process. So I think that's it for now, guys. I've run at about 50-minute mark. I've got to get ready for another interview in a few minutes. If you got any questions or anything, feel free to contact me directly. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please let me know your feedback below. I appreciate your time. And we'll do this again next week, Thursday at 1 o'clock. And again, the next week is talking about the fundamentals, ironing out exactly what you want your agency to be, what direction you want to go, and looking at yourself as where you fit in the scheme of things as an agency. So Dave Duford here, logging out. Thanks for your time, guys. We'll see you. Thanks for watching my video on building your own insurance agency. And before you go, I want to stress, if you are interested in building an agency, you have got to find the right setup to give you the opportunity to build the agency in your brand, to make it your own, and to maximize the opportunity out of your hard work. What I've discovered as an agency owner since 2013 is that many of the agents out there who aspire to build an agency, doesn't matter what product it is, partner with the wrong companies. They partner with companies that steal their downlines, that terminate them to eliminate them from their downlines, and ultimately build the brand of the company or the agency and not their own brand. What I teach agents is how to brand their own agency in their name, to give them the opportunity to maximize their commissions, whatever kind of products they're selling, and to ultimately create a real business that actually gets results. I'm sick and tired of all these corporations out here who are involved in the insurance business screw so many good-hearted agents over with quote-unquote agency opportunities. So this whole rant is just for me to explain to you that now I have a program. If you are interested in doing some sort of agency building, but you want to make sure you join the right agency. You want to make sure you get the training from A to Z, from recruiting, from training, from coaching agents to building and scaling and having lead generation. You think that's important to know and you know you need it, my program is for you. So if you want to learn more about how I help agents become successful and independent agency owners, here's what you need to do. Go to davidduford.com. Click Join Dave's Agency, and you'll see a little link in the bottom that says something about check out my agency program. And there you'll find all sorts of information that will describe how it works and give you an idea of the details and to determine if it's right for you. So check that out if this is something you're serious about doing. And you guys have a good day, and thanks for watching. See ya.